part of the series is making a web form to put on your website, so that way we can go ahead and collect those leads. So let's go ahead and share here. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right, so just as a recap, the series that we're doing is the path. So this is all about getting someone that's visiting your website all the way over into a trial that is showing up at your door for their first lesson. So the first step, which we are going over today, is creating these web forms for you to be able to put on your website, or if you have any kind of landing page service like ClickFunnels, anything like that, you can be able to put these on there to be able to capture the lead. Capturing the lead is extremely, extremely important. Of course, on our website, we could just say, hey, click here to sign up for a trial. And we could theoretically just take them straight to our profit generator and have them go ahead and purchase the trial or register for the free trial. But the thing is, there's a lot more information that they need to put in to go ahead and solidify that. All right. So we want to make sure that we capture their information. We don't want it to where they go to that page and then they decide not to do it, and then we don't have any of their information for us to follow up with marketing. So we definitely want to make sure that we get their contact information. It's just like you get a phone call. One of the first things that you do when you have a prospective client giving you a phone call is you get down their information, so that way you can follow up with them later on if for whatever reason you were not able to book them, right there on that phone call to come in. So that is extremely, extremely important. So after they opt in on your website, that's automatically going to populate them in RainMaker. You don't need to do any kind of manual entry, and then we'll take them to that profit generator page so they can register for your trial, whether it's paid or free. After they register for this trial, we'll change them automatically for you from a prospect to a prospect that's now on a trial membership. And the next page that'll display for them is going to be able for them to go ahead and book that first lesson. So they can simply just click, July 18th, 5:45 p.m. That works for me. They click on it, and that available spot on your appointment book will turn to booked with all their information inside of it. And you did not have to try to chase them down via email, text message, and phone calls to book it. They immediately did it and made that commitment, and we'll be able to remind them of that appointment. But after they go ahead and do this and they simply just click what date and time works best for them, the last place that they go is your waiver. So that waiver that you have them sign before they do their first class, they can sign it digitally online. You don't have to do any paper. Saves on their profile. If you ever need to pull it up, print it out, or email it to them, you can definitely do so. So after that whole process is done, the next part is we're reminding them of the appointment, sending them emails and sending them text messages, reminding them of that appointment that we have. Great to have that text message going out the day before and also the day of. It's definitely good to do both, because there's plenty of times, even myself, where I received even a phone call, reminding me of my doctor's appointment that I had the next day. And I confirmed it. Yeah, we're still good. But there's been plenty of times the actual day of the appointment, I got busy and I completely forgot about it. And so I didn't have any kind of text message, anything just to remind me, even hair appointments, just not getting reminded about that appointment, and I will easily forget it, and then all of a sudden I'm a no-show. Okay, so it's very good to send out these text messages. They will see it. There's plenty of us now that have voicemails on our cell phone that we probably have never checked, or our emails that have got buried between all the other spam emails that we get all day long. So text messages are really, really, good about getting that reminder to them to help out that show rate. And then at the end of everything, you should end up, with the end goal is having that trial in your door, taking that first class, and you had that whole thing automated. They opted in themselves. They registered for the trial themselves. They booked their own class. They already signed the waiver themselves. They were reminded automatically about the appointment, and they showed up in the door. So that's the end game. But there will be some people that after they opted in and they got to that profit generator page, they did not fill this out and they did not register for the trial, so therefore they didn't book a class. So that's where flows will come into play. And that actually is going to be next week. We're going to be diving into flows and these appointment reminders. And so trying to market those people that didn't register, getting them back to that link, or getting staff members calling them to go ahead and get them in the door. So let's go ahead and let's focus on talking about making this opt-in form. So the first two things is we've already pretty much have the path fully built through the series, all right, because we've made that profit generator page, we've made the available appointments, we've made the digital waivers, we've made the tags. So now what we need to do is make the form and then tell the form after they fill it out to take them to the profit generator. So what comes next is all based upon who your website is with, okay? So if you're using a typical martial arts company website, FCOM, 97 Display, Market Muscles, Get Students, you can contact them, let them know that you are a RainMaker client, and they will let you know what they need to be able to connect that for you. The main thing that you're going to want to provide them is you're going to want to, if you're using one of those services, you don't need to make a web form. A lot of the times, there's some that you do, and they'll let you know if they need you to make one or not. But if they don't need you to make a web form, all you really have to tell them is, okay, when they opt in on this page, I want you to give them this tag in RainMaker, and I want you to go ahead and send them to this website, which is your profit generator for the trial. Because obviously on the kids martial arts page, you're going to want them to get that kids martial arts tag you made and send them to that profit generator that was for the kids trial versus the adults. So we want to keep everything organized. And so they can do that. They can 100%, if they make their own web forms and connect it to RainMaker for you, they can have your RainMaker tag appear on them when they opt in and push them to the correct profit generator, depending on what page they came in on. Now, if you are building your own website, or maybe your website developer does not have the forms that connect to RainMaker, what you can do is then make your own and give them the code. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do now. So let me go ahead and pull up RainMaker here. All right, does everyone see the RainMaker homepage? All right, perfect. One thing that I'm going to need, because when I'm making the web form, I have to tell it when they submit it what website to take them to. So I need to go ahead and just be prepared and have another tab open so I can get those profit generator links. So that way I can paste them in there. So I'm just going to right click on this homepage here and open a new tab. And on that new tab, I'm just going to go pull up those profit generators. So I'm just going to messages, profit generators here. And so I'll go ahead and find the one that I want to use. So I've got one here for kids martial arts. So I'm going to click to view the URL. And I can go ahead and copy that. And I'll be needing to use that when we do the web forms. So I'll go back to my other tab where I was on the home page, and now I'm going to go into making this web form. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to go to settings, and then right about in the middle here we have web forms. So go ahead and click on that. And like we had talked more in video one of this series, you want to develop a strategy with your website. It's definitely great to make a separate web form for each page. Make a web form for the kids martial arts page, make a web form for the adults martial arts page, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and make this web form for my kids martial arts page. So I'm going to click here to add a brand new form. And the first thing that it's going to have me do is title it. In my title, I just want to make sure that when I read that title, I know exactly where this web form is. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's on my website. And kids martial arts page. After I title that, I need to now tell the web form what tag to automatically assign any prospect that comes in and submits this form. So we're doing kids martial arts. So I have a tag that I made called Web Lead Kids Martial Arts. Go ahead and choose that, and that'll automatically assign it to them as soon as they opt in. The next piece is I'm going to go ahead and choose what information that I want to be able to gather. So all you need to do is check on the fields that you want to gather, and you can also choose if you want that to be required or not. So I'm just going to keep everything the same. I just want to ask for the first name, last name, email, and mobile phone Just tip with this, the least amount of information that you ask, the better chance that you're going to get of a submission. And so with this, I would, we also have an offers section here. I recommend just, sticking with this as the max amount of information to ask. But how offers work is if you check it on, it'll be a drop-down box, and it'll ask them anything that you want them to select, and then you can assign them a flow tag to then start a flow. So that would, like the example in here, you could have one for 10 ways to build child self-esteem, insider tips on how to lose weight and have a blast, give them a tag, and then have an email sequence follow up with them about that. But I would recommend just sticking to as least amount of information for them to put through as possible. So just stick with this. Next, you can also have the web form automatically assign them an age group. So I can go ahead and say that if they opt in on this, go ahead and assign them the kids age group. If you don't want them to assign the kids age group, you can say do not require age, and it just won't pass that through. You can also let them choose, and it'll be a drop down box, and they can select it. Only select let them choose if you fully explain the age group. You don't want to have let them choose if you're going to sit there and list, little dragons, tiny tigers. They're not going to know what to select. All right. If you fully say, 4 to 7 year olds, 8 to 13 year olds, that they would fully be able to get and know exactly what to select. So with this, I'm just going to have it where it's going to give them that kid's age group. So now we're on the redirect portion. Okay. So this is where I needed to go to that profit generator page and copy the URL for that, because after they submit this form, I want to say to take them to the profit generator. So in this first step right here, this is where you're going to paste in that profit generator. And a tip is just to come in here and add an S at the end of this. And that just helps out a lot with making sure people, if they have any kind of browser security requirements, that everything comes through. So that's just a little pro tip there. Just add an S at the end of the P, and everything will be fine. You don't use this bottom one unless you chose step 2. All right, so with this, we're only doing a 1-step form, which means they fill out what's in front of them, they submit, and it goes to the profit generator. A 2-step is you ask this part on step 1, they hit next, pulls up another set of questions, they fill that out, step 2, and then go. So to me, that's too much. We just want a little bit and go, get them to that profit generator. So I would recommend just saying on step 1 and put your redirect here, and then we can leave this blank. Now, the very next thing is you can also send them an immediate email. So any email that you want them to receive as soon as they opt in, go ahead and put the subject and put the body of the email here, and that will automatically send to them. So the next part, this is all about notifications. So if you want to receive an email notification or a text message notification whenever you get an opt-in lead, then you can go ahead and put your information in here. Put in every single email that you want notified and just separate it by a comma with no space. And same with the mobile phones. All right, you can go in here and just type in your mobile number. And if there's a couple of them, just put a comma and then start filling out the next one. And that's exactly how you would submit that through. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create Form and Save. So as soon as I've done that, that's going to give me the code for that form. And this is what you want to put on your website. So if you made your website yourself, just go ahead and copy and paste this onto your website. If you have someone else that handles your website, then you can go ahead and send them this web form. You can either copy it and send it over to them. You can even just put their email right here and click send, and it'll email them this web form information for you. All right, so that is completing and doing the basic web form. Now, let me show you this, because let's actually just copy this real quick, just so you kind of see. So this site that I just went to, I just Google searched JS Fiddle. It just lets you be able to see what the code looks like. So I can just come in here and paste in the code and click run, and then it'll show you in the bottom right what it looks like. So on a basic form, there's no styling at all to it, okay? So your web developer, if they want to add their own styling, they can go ahead and style that however you would like it, like that to look. So this is the basic one. Also, what you can do is if you are doing your website yourself and you're not knowledgeable in styling with code, you can actually go to Fiverr.com and you can give them the website page that you want the web form on. So that way they can see exactly what it looks like, and you can ask them just to style it to make it fit the current design of the page. And with Fiverr, a lot of the times you can find someone to do that for you for $5. You know, I absolutely love Fiverr. And with Fiverr, let me just go to that for you real quick. So that's Fiverr with 2 R's, Fiverr.com. And so you can even just type in here, web form. And so there's a lot of different services. And you see right here, $5. All right, let me come back over. Now, we also have some design templates that you could use as well to add to that web form. So if you want to use one of our design templates, you just want to go ahead and pull the web form up you just made and click to edit it. So I can go back to web forms, just like where I went to create it, settings, web forms. And then once that page loads, I'm going to go ahead and find that one that I made. I called it Website Kids Martial Arts. So I'm going to click to view and edit this form. And then I can go all the way to the bottom. And we have this add a graphical style to this web form. So I can click on this. And now we have 6 different templates that you could choose to use that are already styled for you. So let's say you wanted to use this one. You can go ahead and set how big that you want that, 220 pixels wide or 300 pixels wide. And you just say set style. And then it's going to go ahead and give you the code for that. And then, so if you do use this, this is going to be the code that you use, not that long piece of code that we just put in for the basic web form. You would just only use this short piece. So you would delete out that big web form that you put on your website and instead put this short piece. And that will go ahead and put in the styled web form for you that's already available from RainMaker. Does anybody have any questions on anything that I went over as far as building the web forms or options for going ahead and styling that and putting it on your website?
Yes, I use Elementor as a website developer.
Okay.
And if I try to use these templates, it doesn't render correctly because when you type in the name and address and whatever, either you can't see it or it's too dark or something like that. The colors don't render correctly. Is there any software that you can point out that doesn't do that to your templates?
I'd like to be able to take a look at that. Are you okay with showing us that and let you take over and share your screen? So I would really need to see it to know to get a kind of understanding of what we would need to do. Or if you'd like, me and you can set up a time later today.
Okay, what's your phone number?
All right, so dial the normal RainMaker number, and I'll give you my direct extension. So the RainMaker number is 888-293
okay.
0972.
Okay.
Extension 139.
All
Today,
right.
anytime after 3, so anywhere between 3 and 5 p.m. Central, I'll be free.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. Sal, how about you? Is everything going good with your web developer? I know that he had emailed in with questions about his web forms.